Well, since being young, I'd always wanted to be an artist, and I suppose I come from quite an arty background. My granddad was an artist. My mum studied art, but she didn't do much because when I was young, she had lots of kids to look after. But my older brother was kind of genius artist, but when I was young, when I was really young, your mum would give you loads of paper and pencil crayons, or crayons, and I suppose it was a way of keeping us occupied. But as I got older, I remember she wasn't very encouraging. She just said, don't be silly, you can't do that. And it was my older brother that encouraged me to try and get into art college, and which I did, but then I dropped out of art college soon after because I had a really kind of unstable life at that point, and I was kind of messed up on drugs and drink, and so I dropped out of art college and then worked in kind of rubbish jobs for the next 25 years, just kind of clinging on to life. And it was only once I kind of sobered up in my 30s that I started wanting to do everything that I'd meant to do when I was younger, but life got in the way and being off my face got in the way. So once I'd sobered up, it took a while for me to get my life get my mind back on track, to start to feel like someone who could cope with life. And eventually, once I did that, I'd been watching a lot of art programs on TV, like Portrait Artist, Landscape Artist, and there was some other ones like Artist of the Year, I think it was called, and just seeing these programs would constantly put it back into my mind that there was this kind of unfulfilled dream that I had that I wanted to do. So I'm kind of really thankful of those programs. They were kind of really inspiring to me. So they're what really kind of, I knew I wanted to get back into art, but I just didn't believe I was good enough, and I never believed I was good enough, especially because my older brother was so talented, that I always just felt like there's no way I could ever be as good as that, so there's no point. But once you're kind of older and a bit wiser, and now I was sober, I just thought, this is something I want to do, so do it. If you've got a kind of dream that you want to follow, you should, do that at all costs, and not give up. And I promised myself that I was going to try, and this time just not give up no matter what. And I always knew I could draw. I could draw what was in front of me. I could, I was pretty good at that, but I always thought that I couldn't paint. So that was my first challenge, and I decided my first goal was to paint something that I'm satisfied with, that I'm happy with, and I think is a good painting. So I did a couple of little paintings that I weren't happy with, and then I really decided to focus, and I spent about a month working on this piece, which was from a photo I'd taken out of a window of a moving car in San Francisco of the two interlocking streets, Haight and Valencia, I think it's called. And I just spent so long on this painting until I got it how I wanted, and the buildings were all wonky at first, and I had to repaint them straighter, and I had real trouble painting straight lines, and I've got quite a kind of like a hyperactive mind. I was hyperactive when I was younger, and I had very short attention span, and I remember my mum thinking I was deaf, and she used to take me to get my ears tested because I'd be so in my own world and just not concentrating that I wouldn't even notice people were calling me. And and that kind of lasted into adult life, and I found that I find it very difficult to concentrate, but through meditation and things like that, you can kind of rein in and start to become more centered as a person in what you're doing. And I still find it difficult, but I really, because I had this dream, I wasn't going to give up on it. So that's how I learned to focus enough to paint. And before, I always thought I couldn't paint because I'd do something, and then if in an hour it didn't look good, I'd think, well, I can't paint. But so that's why I really focused myself and spent. I thought, I don't care how long it takes, I'm going to do a good painting. And I was quite happy with that painting. And once I'd done that, I felt like such a sense of achievement, and I enjoyed doing it so much that I just kind of carried on, and I painted every day after that. But my other half said to me, you're getting too bogged down in one painting, just try doing some looser, little, small stuff. So one day on Christmas Eve, I had 2 little 20 by 20 canvases, and Bella, my other half, she was making a card. She makes a card every year for her mum, and I went and decided to try and paint a couple of little surprise paintings for us. I did one of my dog, one of our dog and one of our cat, just quick paintings, and I did 2 of them in 4 hours. And when I came out and said, an early Christmas present for you, I've done it, she was just like overwhelmed, and she just loved them, and she said like I'd caught their essence and everything like that. And so that was another little learning curve, of like doing freer, quicker painting and but still producing something that's worthwhile. And she shared those pictures online, and people seemed to love them, and I ended up doing pet portraits for people, which people kind of look down, I suppose, on pet portraits and see it as a bit not real art or whatever. But I got a lot of satisfaction out of doing those, because you do feel like you're getting something of the essence of a little being that that's loved by someone, and it's very satisfying to get their reaction when they see it. And people are quite taken back when they get those. So I did that for a while, and it brought in a little bit of money as well. But it was doing things like this taught me more that I could paint, but I still didn't feel really like an artist. And that's why I kind of started to want to do something with more meaning and become an artist rather than just a painter. But yeah, I've painted every day since I started. Well, not every day, but practically every day. And if I got to spend the rest of my days painting, I'd be very happy.